So, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys and boys, nerds, geeks, and otaku, welcome back and welcome home.
Hello there, Apple Biteys. This is your Apple Bite Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. And tonight we have a plethora of guests all hanging out and beginning to have some fun. Yep, we got a full house tonight, folks, and we are gonna geek out. You should have seen the stuff that was happening in the green room. Woohoo! I probably should have had a cold start again, but I think that it would have been better to like wait.
No.
Oh man. So folks, I hear it's been an interesting week for everybody.
That's a way to put it. Absolutely. That's certainly a way to describe things. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's summertime. All the conventions are happening. This
Is
weekend.
it summertime still? Do we still qualify this as? We're at the end of. We're like the middle to end of August.
Summer doesn't end until October.
You say that, but all that summer activities is still.
I don't know. My son's starting first grade next week, so I'm just like, is it really summertime still? Do we still qualify the end of August as summertime, or is it like proto fall? Like we're not quite to fall yet, but we're not really in summer anymore. Like the normalcy of the school year is coming back and everything like that.
Well, we still got like 3 or 4 weeks to go.
Hey,
yeah, our school don't start till like after Labor Day.
Oh,
yeah, like in Texas,
what a
and
nice
Florida,
day.
I think they started.
Other states have already started for the first
100%.
We used to be post Labor Day, but like all of that changed. I think in the past like 5 or 6 years. I don't know. It's got to be longer than that. But like because when I was growing up, it was definitely public school. Everything started like after Labor Day, but now like everywhere in Virginia, from what I can tell, is like second to the third week of August. They start
back. As time passes, like New York, our little area here is being like in the weird part of it, because everybody else seems to start like halfway down August, and I'm like, okay, yeah, New York is still like, hey, no, Labor Day after that.
I mean, hey, some things are important to hold on to.
But like let's be honest, right? Like you got like I like the cooler weather in the fall, right? I like fall festivals. I like apple picking. I'm allergic to apples, but I haven't done it. But like the pumpkin pickings and Halloween, right? Like, and then you got your Thanksgiving. So I like the fall, especially like the cooler air. So when it's not as sticky and hot and sweltering, but and then if you're a big football fan, I'm a New York Jet fan, so I got no hope. I've been a fan of the Jets my whole entire life, and they don't give me exactly a lot of confidence. My son went from being a Patrick Mahomes fan and then he goes to the Jets. I'm like, why? Why? You go from one to the other. I'm like,
You can't just
stay with-
change teams like that. That's not how that works. Where's the loyalty?
15. He just started like 2 years ago, like something like, you know, and then I'm like, and when my dad passed, he was, you know, a few months ago, he started liking Jason Tatum for the Celtics. So I'm like, hey, at least he keeps up the tradition. My dad was an old Boston Celtic fan with Bill Russell and all that great teams in the 60s, right? So he so I go, well, I said my dad had passed, but at least you keep the tradition, and you got to see the Celtics win another one, you know. So I can't say for the Dallas Cowboys. I've been a long time Dallas Cowboy fan, so you know, I have friends that are Cowboys fans. I'm like, yeah, there's no hope for you guys, you know. You know? But I'm a Jet fan, so who am I saying? You know.
Oh my God! So let's get this kicked off. Andrew, let's start with you. We haven't we haven't seen you in a while.
It's good to see you again. How are you?
Great to see you. So let's catch up and tell us what you've been up to.
Boy, what have you been up to? We're just publishing Battlequest Comics. We'll be at New York Comic Con this fall. We have a new title called The Young Nomads that's in previews right now. We're about to be on Diamond's FOC program this year,
Nice.
month with this title. So that's one of our old titles. That's Nomad the Unconquerable. I think we burned through all of those. No, wait, we have a third Nomad the Unconquerable series coming out. But
Okay, I was going to say
we have a spiritual successor to Nomad the Unconquerable. We have the Young Nomads. So then we have some new Trident of Aurelia coming in 2025. And I think later this month we're going to go. Oh, that's Steel Siege. We'll have some Steel Siege in 2026. But we're going to go to the Boise Comic Arts Festival later this month, and we'll go to New York Comic Con in October. So I was just publishing comic books, man. It's a trip, you know. It's a trippy gig.
You haven't been really hitting the cons. You've been concentrating more on the books, right?
Yeah, I've been focusing more on the direct market sale and the story. You know, I toured Comic Cons for 7 years. I went all over the country, and you know, I pick a Comic Con if we have, you know, a reason to be there. I think with October, the Young Nomads comes out, so it's a good reason to be at New York Comic Con.
That's a great reason.
yeah, and we'll have an exclusive New York Comic Con edition of the Young Nomads there.
I love that.
Yeah, it'll be a flip book, and you'll get in the back of it, you'll get a preview of the 27 run Crash, which is our first title in 2025. So we're going to be actually giving that away. So anyone who comes by, or we'll have a small press booth. I don't remember it, but we're in the small press section, and don't remember the name of the booth, the number of the booth, but yeah,
we'll share it when we get it. So
yeah, cool.
No.
cool. Yeah, definitely. So that's, I guess that's what we're doing. We're just publishing Battlequest, and
I gotta say, I really have to show this off because this is just magnificent.
Oh, okay. So that's Melissa Spandry, who's in Italy, and then that's painted by Lee Moyer. Right, and that's just an amazing piece. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who that character is. I don't I know that. So this series, the Trident of Aurelia, it has like mermaids versus like lobster monsters and gods and the humans in the sky who are like sky barbarians basically, and then the mermaids can get legs apparently as well, and they can wander on the land, and they can go through portals and go into realms beyond, you know, beyond the beyond or whatever. And somewhere out there they bumped into this dragon, and so I don't know what's going on, but that is a really cool image.
That is fantastic. That is badass.
Well, you know, yeah, Melissa, she's a great illustrator, and I think she's one of these people who we're just really lucky to have her work for us. You know, we got her a couple of years ago, and she draws. Like she turns in multiple pages a week. You just check your email, and Melissa's updated it, you know, usually first thing in the morning. Here's your new page. Wow. And so
nice.
Yeah, she just gets the job done. So.
And that is a job. Woof, look at that thing.
Ain't that something? Yeah, ain't that something, right? Yeah. So I don't. I guess we'll find out more about that character in 2025. But whoever that dragon is, I don't know who it is. We have 3 titles with dragons coming up. So
Nice.
Here's what you were talking about.
yeah. So that's our Bill Sienkiewicz cover. That's our retail incentive cover. So all stores that buy 5 copies of #1 will get a limited edition print of this cover. So Bill Sienkiewicz was very nice. He agreed to do 2 characters for us, and he drew. Yeah, it kind of looks like the kid from Dune or whatever, but that's cool. He was very. I mean, you know how it's like with Bill Sienkiewicz. I've never worked with him before until this, but we didn't know if we were going to get like a great Bill Sienkiewicz cover or what was going to come through. And he just gave us this amazing cover. We were chatting with his rep, and I was like, please tell Mr. Sienkiewicz, please. We make hero comics. We want like young heroes. We want them to be facing the challenges, And so he gave us that, and that's
looks fantastic.
Yeah. So this series is about 2 teenagers, and they're from rival groups, and they unite to go find a weapon to bring it back and battle the invaders that have conquered their land, who are basically ruled by this machine that controls the people. So it's a fun story. It's a very mythic. It's got a lot of story beats that I think like are exciting and engaging and things people are familiar with, but it's kind of done in a new and exciting way.
It looks great. Like when I ran into it, like right before I started talking to you again to see if you should come on the show, I was like, "What's this?"
Yeah, Young Nomads. Yeah, I wish I could tell you what that is. That's just a good, fun, archetypal hero quest. And I think if people give the book a chance, they'll see that it's an interesting story. I've never really seen a comic quite like it,
And it's releasing straight to the stores, right?
Yeah. It'll be. I think you can get the digital one through our website. We do a free download for #1s, but yeah,
nice.
To get the print, you get them to stores. Yeah.
I can help you guys out with that. You guys are all going, well, Ralph, what's the website? Well, I'm going to share the website because I have it over here. And you guys can go check it out for yourself.
Yeah, and that's Trident. Those were our Trident covers. So we had who did we have? We had Brent Anderson from God Loves Man Kills, the X-Men comic. He does the one that's kind of the top. I don't know if that's reader's left or reader's right, but it's my left. So it's top left. And then bottom right is Karen Darbo. She's awesome. And then Anton Olenek, he did the 2 on the other sides. He did. So that's Mermaids versus Dinosaurs down left, or Running from Dinosaurs, which is really trippy. So yeah, I just need to throw a sink at those mermaids, and I think we'll have everything.
These are beautiful covers.
Yeah, they really are.
Thank you. Yeah.
Really good, very good art.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky. We had some really terrific cover artists who came in and we're like, hey, we know you're a small press, we know you're a small company, but let me give you my best work for you. So that was really special.
And that's exactly what you want. You want them to treat you like actually to be professional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I usually tell people, I say, it's about the process first and foremost, right? Like your story and your process, and that's what we have control over. And so I think that was able to get some good work out of people doing it that way, or some work that I feel was okay.
I still, we discussed this a couple of times, and I still love that feeling that these books have, where it feels like the old D&D manuals.
Yeah, I think IGN said that our comics were like your favorite tabletop game or RPG brought to life in comic form.
There you go.
I was like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, as we intended. So.
Oh yeah, because I remember when I first saw it, I was like, this was like a player manual or something.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's been a lot of comic stores that have been like, hey, I don't think this is for us because, it looks like it's more in the gaming world and things like that. So it's it's been, on the one hand, that's cool. And then on the other hand, it can be a setback to take that route too.
But it's so funny to think that way, because all this really is, and all D&D did in the beginning was used the fantastic fantasy art, to sell their product. But I feel like now people see that and go D&D,
Yeah.
But that's not what it was before. Before it was just fantastic fantasy art.
Yeah, and that's where I try to get the people, the team to understand. Like, let's do it. Let's make fantastic fantasy art and put it out to the world, and let's see what happens. So, because I'm with you on that, right? Like, I'm attracted to cool fantasy art. I want to know more about those worlds. I want to open it up, and explore the characters,
Definitely.
and the good guy, the bad guy, and yeah.
This looks beautiful, man.
You know what? That also printed
amazing.
good. Yeah. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a feeling this looks even better in person.
Yeah. It printed good. So
It almost looks like it could glow in the dark.
yeah. That's Bokhara. It was funny. I think the guy who wrote the world, he was like, he thought that the illustrator had like drawn a pattern down the mermaid's tail or whatever, and no, it's like the sea creatures and parts and seaweed or whatever. But yeah,
for a minute I see what he said. I see what he's thinking.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah.
he was
As you look at it, you go, wait, no, that's not her.
Yeah.
That's not her.
Yeah. Okay, Karen Darbo rules, by the way. She's awesome. She's just awesome. And then that's our ad in the Diamond Previews catalog. So I got my TikTok going. I'm really into my TikTok now. So I finally figured it out. I'm a big fan. They better not ban TikTok.
It takes a while, and it's very useful. I'm not gonna say it's not. I know the way. It's so funny because I understand where you're coming from, because I'm sorry, Ralph, you're supposed to use it a certain way, and I'm like, I was about to say that. I'm like, F you, I will use it the way I wanted to use it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, there's no one way to do it. That movie, the Longlegs movie, and they had a superb TikTok campaign. They had all these influencers dressed up as Nick Cage, like singing the song from the movie. TikTok's a great tool. I'm into it.
I use it to make my trailers. Before I was using it more to make my trailers or for the show and whatnot. Now I've gotten more into like using the Instagram itself, because it makes life so much easier.
Yeah. I'll make something on TikTok and then I'll upload it to the Instagram.
Exactly.
So I'm a little upset with Meta right now. So
who's not upset at Meta?
Meta is a mess, man.
They are.
Yeah.
I manage a social media for a client as like my day job, and Meta and LinkedIn have some of the worst freaking UIs that I've ever seen. It's like the whole point of this was to make things easier, right? Why is it not easier?
LinkedIn, easy. Same sentence, impossible.
Like the amount of times where it's like the UI for the phone and the website work completely differently, and like depending on what type of, like if you're using the Apple version of the app versus the Google version of the app, it's just like it's a freaking mess. LinkedIn, it's one of these things where like, if it were not the fact that like LinkedIn is like the social media equivalent to your net worth, it would be the most worthless platform on the face of the planet. And their whole market on how to get yourself seen there is literally a pay to win scheme. It's gross. I despise it.
It's very hard for small businesses.
No, 100%.
It advertises themselves as like, if you're a small business, we can put you in front of people, and we can, but it's actually the exact opposite. You have to be a really big business to
even big businesses think that they're overrated. And let me tell you, my client is not small business,
right?
And I made a proposal to do a LinkedIn premium profile because of specifically job job pushing, like pushing out job openings, and they were even like, we'll take this under advisement. And initially it looked like they were going to do it, and then radio silence from them for like a year.
Wow.
Like it's not worth it. Like with the prices that they're charging, and then even still, it's like, well, if you're doing this, you still have to pay for extra job postings per month. You just get a little bit of a discount on it. It's like, dude, you guys are just fucking gouging everyone for money.
But that's the funny thing about the whole metaverse, because it's the funniest thing, because you put money in to do a campaign, and then what you realize is all they're doing is allowing the people on your own, the people that follow you, to see that campaign.
Yeah, it's absurd. Well, it's like that's why I refuse to pay for boosts on Facebook and everything at this point. I'll go and I'll post something to my business page, and I'll go back to my personal page. Like, all right, time to go share this into every indie comics group that I am in.
Right.
And hope that it gets accepted, and I don't get a message from one of the admins to be like, you're spamming. I was like, I am not. I post like once, maybe twice a week. But I do need to promote, and this is the best way that I can do it on this platform.
I think you're better off with 30 authentic reactions than you are with like 10,000 fake ones. So 100%.
100%.
Mm-hmm. And it's so funny though, because I've gotten in trouble before for sharing a Kickstarter. You know, they'll give me one of those hits where they go, "Oh, you're trying to get likes whatever way," and I'm like, "No, I'm sharing this so people can check out this Kickstarter."
It's called organic networking, you sack of shit.
It's like, you're not paying me, so you can't put that up. Oh my god. And it's so funny because, you know, they just make it so difficult. And like I said, I'm not kidding, folks. All they do is they allow your organic feed to get what they're supposed to get naturally now that you're paying. Because that's what it feels like to me. Because as soon as I see somebody paying, all of a sudden, I didn't see their feed before, and now all of a sudden I see their feed, and I'm like, something's up.
The only way that like paying for it actually means anything is if you're putting like serious money in for like if you're putting in like $300-400 a week, right? Like and you're paying to get like captures and click throughs. That's the only time that you're like, once you have like a genuine marketing budget where you're looking at like $3,000 to $5,000 a month, right? Like that's the only time that paying into like Facebook and all of that to market it is actually worth anything, because then you'll be getting that back. But like no small business has $3,000 to $4,000 a month to throw into Meta to boost their stuff. So the better thing to do is to just go, okay, well, I know what my book's about. Let me go find a bunch of groups that are targeted towards that, and let me go post this in indie comics groups where there are supporters of indie comics. And then obviously, you know, most of us creators, we're not just creators, we're supporters of each other's work.
Exactly.
Right. Like so like going out there and posting that stuff up, and you know, hopefully you grow your audience and what have you, and that's the best you can do outside of, you know, obviously going to conventions and doing stuff like that. But otherwise, you know, they have made it so user unfriendly, and it's gotten progressively worse over the past 5 years since the crowdfunding boom in 2019, 2020. Like it used to be that you could go and like I could go onto a group, a post that I made on my page and share it into a bunch of groups at once. I could just have all the groups listed and tick all of them and then post it, and it would simultaneously do it. Now I have to go and do it individually, and it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get it.
I think they limit you to like 4, right?
Well, no,
3 or 4. I think it's like 3.
It's you get 1 per share. And so I literally go and I share out my link to the group. Like I go through the entire list, and it takes me about 15 minutes to get it to every single indie comics group. And like sometimes I'll like, because you're going back and forth and doing this all the time, I end up double posting in a group. So I have to go and like delete that. So that way I don't get the naughty finger wag from the moderators. Like, you're spamming. It's like, no, I'm not. I swear I am just trying to get this out there. Like, and I forgot that I had already posted in you because I was going through a giant list and sharing down the line, and my short-term memory is crap. So,
I feel you, because it's hard to keep track of all that stuff.
It is.
Yeah, especially when you're doing it on your own.
Yeah,
Andrew, I feel like you're in a different place now. It feels like you're because you feel more like you're the boss now. You know, because when I first met you, you were the guy hustling out there, telling me, "Buy the comic, check this out, Ralph," and you had a great spiel. Yeah, and you got my attention, which is how we became friends.
I'm still the guy hustling. I really did Comic Cons for 7 years, man, and it beat me up really bad. It beat me up. Yeah, I'm 40. I'm 44 years old, man. Like it's hard to do an 11-hour day standing there talking to people, and so if someone can go and work for us and share our books, all the better.
Yeah, so I'm right then. You're in a different place now. You're more like, okay, you guys go do that.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, like definitely, I get what he's saying. It was like there's definitely some delegation, but like, I mean, the fact that Andrew's here shilling still showcases that he's putting the hustle in.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, I hustle 9 to midnight, 7 days a week. I really do. So
dude, I know that you're hustling because again, talking about feeds and whatnot. You stay on my feed, and
good.
That's hard to do because it's funny that I'm people are going, what are you talking about? Stay on your feed, Ralph? No. You don't understand. They like to mess with you. So if he's not posting enough, I won't see it. And sometimes, even if he's posting a lot, they'll decide that they're not going to show it, which is what I'm saying about the fact that when you pay, all of a sudden now I can see what I should have been able to see before.
I think maybe then you're saying you're the only person who sees my stuff I don't pay to post. You're it. Yeah.
You're on my organic feed. There we go. Now use the words.
What has been interesting is over the last couple of years, seeing the seeing what's going on in the comic book industry from a very different lens, because now we're actually publishing monthly, and so I know a lot of the people involved in some of the stories that go out there, and it's like, oh, okay, this is interesting. It wasn't like that 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, or whatever. All of the things that would go viral and people would talk about, I didn't know anyone was talking about. And now things happen. I'm like, oh, okay. I think I understand the economics of this a little better. I think I know why some of these decisions got made. And that's a trip.
I gotta say, again, I keep seeing your stuff, and I know what you've been doing, and I'm like, this hustle from store to store, it's not an easy hustle. It's even harder than the Comic-Con hustle.
Well, so the store owners have actually been really, really great to Battlequest for the most part. So we went to the Comics Pro event in, I think, December 2022 or something like that. But we went there and we were able to talk to about 300 store owners. And, as a small press, so about 2,500 stores in the direct market, the US, UK market. And as a small press, really about 300 to 500 of them are your target audience, right? You know what I mean? Because they're the only, and you have the big buyers, or New York, Midtown, or New England, Clamshire. The big buyers will go ahead and swoop up some of your titles, and then you want to go find those like independent stores who just kind of like you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they like you, they like your voice, and so what we offer at Battlequest is one comic a month. And we think we look great next to the best titles in the world, and so that was our strategy. Just like, we're not trying to get everybody. We just want to reach, 300 to 500 a month.
Which is what you have to do. You have to figure out who to aim at.
Yeah. Smart about it.
Yeah. And that creates every month you've got something new to share, or something new to talk about, something. It's just every month you're creating a new opportunity.
Yeah, folks, keep hustling.
Keep hustling, yeah. Keep hustling for sure. Well, the thing is at the very, there's a lot of people out there spending, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars just to hustle.
Yeah.
And that millions of dollars is gone in, a couple of years. Our budget is shoestring compared to what other people spend. So
that is true. A lot of people out there spending a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of freaking money, and then 2 years later, it's just that's all that. So it's interesting. So just there's nothing wrong with hustling. Just know that even the people that even Disney is hustling.
Oh, they hustle all the time.
Whether we like it or not,
They hustle all the time.
Yeah.
and right now they were sweating for a while, and all of a sudden 2 of these movies ended up with the billion mark, and
So-
Disney's sitting there going.
So we were talking about that in the green room, and I wanted to ask a question. Does Ryan Reynolds have the ability to go to Disney and say, "This is the movie, you're taking it"?
So yes and no.
Okay.
Like effectively what it came down to with Deadpool Wolverine is I think that what ended up happening, Deadpool Wolverine would not have happened if it were not for the lackluster success of everything that had been going on. I'm going to just be flat out.
Yeah.
The only reason why Ryan got the amount of creative control and everything like that is, frankly, things have not been great in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since Endgame. I'm not going to go through any of the buzz talking points. The fact of the matter is there was no plan, and they were going by the seat of their pants. They were hiring writers that didn't have a lot of experience, and they were delving into multiverse, which is something that can be done well, but you need good writers to do, because if you don't, it comes off as lazy and convoluted.
Yeah.
And so you had a lot of these projects that were coming out that weren't connecting with fans, that were causing brand dilution because they were going through, and Marvel was still trying to put out that 3-4 film or 3-4 project a year standard. And for a while, Disney and Feige were able to kind of hold Ryan Reynolds off. As you recall, when Deadpool 2 came out, that was right before the Fox acquisition. And so they did the PG-13 edition of Deadpool 2 as a way to pitch PG-13 Deadpool. The only reason why we got what we got with Deadpool Wolverine is because about 2 or 3 years after Endgame, it became clear, okay, there's something missing here. And so that's where Ryan Reynolds was able to leverage, he had been having some private success with things. He had started doing films with Sean Levy. I believe the first one was Free Guy, and while it was a joke film, it did relatively well financially.
It was fun.
It was fun, but it's
was
nothing to write home about. I think the movie that kind of sold everybody on the duo, though, was Adam Project on Netflix, which ended up doing very well.
Yeah, that was nice. I liked it.
That was a good movie too. Yeah,
and really connected with audiences. So they were able to kind of come in. Sean Levy has the reputation of being the more corporatized director, but Ryan Reynolds played it smart, used that as a kind of bargaining chip, and got the ball rolling. And then as they were in production, there are things that were supposed to be in that movie that Ryan Reynolds, because of how well things were being received in the pre-marketing and because of how everything was going, that Disney was finally like, okay, yeah, we're just going to let you do what you want to do, so long as you don't like it. The no cocaine thing was straight up a legitimate thing that even when Feige had initially given him the green light, we're fine with you doing rated R, just no drug use, like no cocaine. And so they're like, okay, that's fine. And then they immediately started writing jokes about it.
Right.
But that's really what it comes down to is at this point, it was a whole thing of, well, we went from a company that was steadily putting out a couple films a year with a guarantee that at least 2 of them were going to break the big B,
right,
to everything is barely breaking even to bringing in loss.
Right.
I would be willing to wager that over the past 3 years, Marvel Disney has lost around anywhere between $500 to $900 million. Like the Marvels was a very expensive movie to make, and it had I would think $400 million loss at the box office.
Yeah,
like
I think
like
what
it's bad.
Yeah, I think what Deadpool opened up as, I think that was what the Marvels did total. You know,
Yeah, like 100%.
It lost a lot of money.
And as a reminder, like the overhead for Marvels, and this is just on production, was I think around $450 million. That doesn't count,
Advertising.
the 100 to 200 million of marketing. And what people don't realize when they're looking at these box office numbers is the studio isn't getting all of that. They're splitting that roughly 50-50 with the domestic theaters and the international theaters.
Yeah, 100%.
So you have to take that number and cut it in half, maybe even like closer to a 60-40 margin. And that's what the studio's take home is. So like if you have a movie that costs you $450 million to make, and you only bring in $450 million at the box office, the studio made $225 million. That's not good. And the fact of the matter is that Marvel had been getting that kind of result for years. And point of fact, they have burned a lot of professional bridges and back scenes because, back when things were good, Robert Downey Jr. convinced a whole bunch of top tier actors to come in at reduced rates for box office percentages.
Right.
Scarlett Johansson sued the shit out of them.
Yeah, she did.
Because of the fact that they were sharing only box office revenue and not streaming revenue, because at that point in time, pandemic was still pretty much in full effect. So people weren't going to the box office. Guarantee you that all the people that worked on Eternals would never recommend working with Marvel ever again. Because again, I guarantee you, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, all these people that are top tier. I mean, you had Kit Harington and Richard Madden, who are not like the biggest actors on the face of the planet, but they're coming off of the heels of Game of Thrones.
Right.
And you had all of these guys probably with similar style contracts where they're taking a significant pay cut.
Yeah, because
what they would normally charge.
Eternals was supposed to have an Eternals too, and now it's not.
It's officially dead.
Yeah.
And I mean, frankly, good riddance. Like it wasn't as bad of a movie, I feel, as some people made it out to be.
No, it wasn't. It was actually better than
it's probably better than a good chunk of what's come out recently, but it's still not a good movie. And it's not something that you should build a foundation on.
No.
And the fact that we started this and it's like, yes, we're going to make Icarus the bad guy. Sorry, spoiler alert. It's been 4 years. But we're going to make Icarus the bad guy is the most lazy and kind of shitty thing that you could do when Icarus is the protagonist of that story.
But they like to do that. They love to take the story
lazy.
And throw it all around. And then when the fans who actually read the books, because that's what the problem is, and then the studio has no respect for the books.
The studio, I think that it's not even the studio. And this is going to sound harsh, and it's not meant to be like a condemnation. The studio is completely apathetic about these IP. They see everything as this is a number on a spreadsheet that makes us money, right? And I'm not saying that to be to dog it. That's business. The problem really hasn't been the studio. It has been what the studios, the people that they have brought in. And this is something we kind of touched on in the green room, where you have a lot of these Hollywood screenwriters that come in with their own personal egos, and they come in and they say, well, I want to be a part of Marvel, but I want to do it my way. And I mean, and like, this isn't even speculation or anything. We have this from the producer of Black Panther 2 that they used as a litmus test to keep people out of the writer's room if they'd read comics.
Yeah.
If they had a writer that said, I grew up reading, Black Panther, and I want to, like, I'm a big fan, you were kept out of the writer's room.
Yeah. They tell their actors not to. They tell their actors not to read the comics,
which is a complete reversal of what made them. Like, you look at everything pre-Endgame. You have set photos of Benedict Cumberbatch reading through Doctor Strange books.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have the Russo brothers actively having Ed Brubaker on set for the Winter Soldier movie. You had respect for what they were doing. These people that have come in the past 5 years since Endgame don't. They don't care. They don't want to make they are all from the Taika Waititi school of, we're here to make fun of this and make it our own thing because we stick our nose up at these things. And what's really unfortunate about this is it creates this unnecessary division between the casual people who just watch the movies and the people who actually care about the books. I'm a huge Taskmaster fan. I adore Taskmaster. I think that he's one of the most underrated characters in Marvel, and you could do some fun stuff. Me personally, I like it. I know Sam Rockwell already played, Justin Hammer, right? But I would have brought him in and had him be Taskmaster under the mask, and do the whole villain academy that he does, like the henchman academy that he sets up.
I feel like it was a complete waste of a great character.
Yeah,
100%. But everybody who watched that movie that hadn't read a freaking comic book before was like, I actually thought Taskmaster was kind of cool. I liked this, and it created an argument, and it just made the guys that read the comics seem like assholes,
right?
Because, well, why don't you like it? I was like, well, you'd have to read the comics. Well, I'm not going to do that. And so rather than do something that would bring both of us together, which is what had been done for the past decade and made them $1 billion franchise, now you have a split. And now these two people don't even want to talk to each other about it.
Right.
Which is sad because, I'll put up your book here. We are working on these books, and I feel like when you step away from it, I don't think you have to do a complete, do the book completely the way it is, but at the same time, leave some of the beautiful stuff in there.
Right. There's no need. And thank you. I can't so this is a book that I worked on. Mm-hmm. This is not my book. I am the translator. So this was initially done as a French bande dessinée. And they did a crowdfunding campaign on a Belgian-French crowdfunding site, brought in around 18K. But I saw the campaign and completely blown away by the art. Like, the artist is actually someone.
Art is beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I was asking if they were planning on doing an English translation, and the artist was like, I really want to, but my publisher doesn't think there's going to be a market. And so I was like, Norse mythology is huge in the United States. Your art is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a problem. But so I offered to do a translation. So I translated and style edited the text to make sure that everything works well in English and what have you. I have a background in French. I would be hard pressed to have a conversation at this point, but I can still read.
I know that feeling. Yeah.
But so this is a retelling of effectively the Norse Edda through Ragnarok from the perspective of Odin. And I mean, Irwin's art speaks for itself. The guy studied at Walt Disney Studios France, and
I love the logo. I didn't mean to cut you off. I love the logo. Yeah,
it's everything about this is just
That's a
dropped
beautiful
in.
book.
Like and it's incredibly reasonably priced. So this is a 144-page hardcover graphic novel, 9.45 by 12.6 format, $28 US. And then the shipping will the shipping, he also has a workaround with the shipping where he is able to get it out. I'm fairly certain the shipping is going to be like $10 from what I've been told. So like, this is just an absolutely gorgeous book. I had a blast translating it. We ended up having to push up the release date. We were initially going to do this campaign in like mid-September, but he has fulfillment obligation, like contractual obligations to get this into a market, and he wants to get the English translation in on bulk printing costs and what have you. So like he wants to make sure the publisher, I should say, because that's, I convinced the publisher to do this. So, we're trying to push for it and what have you. So we had a little bit of softer start than I was hoping for because, well, I didn't have as much of a chance to pre-launch market because I'm also in the middle of doing my crowdfunding campaign for the Embrace 2, which is my book and is actively live right now. So I was kind of hoping to not have that be the case.
I was gonna say, because I was like, oh, you a brave man.
This was not a personal decision. Believe it or not, I am not that devil may care about things. Like I do have confidence in the stuff that I work on, but I am not so arrogant to think that I would be able to, run 2 campaigns for 2 separate IP and not have that affect one or the other. Like that's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off. Right. But yeah, so this is the Embrace 2, and it's the second chapter of my dark superhero book that I started back in 2021. That kind of explores these themes of fatherhood and loss. And we have it's the character's first clash with his big bad Strangle. And we actually have a new trailer now that wasn't here when we were here last time. It's pretty swanky.
Wait, now that you said that, I'm playing. Hold on.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like we have that, and then we just added on there as a way to kind of bring some more people back. I have a preview comic for the next book that I'll be doing next year, which is a reboot of my initial series called Elysian Fields Reborn. And so that is actually, if you look at the perk tier list, it's right there. So there it is, the Elysian Fields Reborn tier. So this is $10 US, and you don't have, if you're in the domestic, if you're US backer, there's no additional charge of shipping. It's factored into the cost.
It's $10 straight. Nice.
Yeah. So let's see. I've actually my first proofs came in here today.
Hold on. There we go.
So you get this wraparound sketch cover with Achilles dragging Hector, like the iconic scene from the Iliad. And then we get the first 12 pages of story with our new art team.
Looks good.
Yeah, hold on. Here's a really good one.
Wow. Love the layout.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we've got some pretty good stuff in there. This is probably one of my favorite pages of the entire
Wow.
thing.
Woo.
Some nice artwork, man. That artwork's really
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah. So like you get that for $10, no extra shipping, super easy. And I ship those out in like October. So to hold everybody over until they get the Embrace too. But so yeah.
How does that impact your business when a large publisher comes in, like a Boom, or because we had that discussion at Emerald City Comic Con, and I'm just wondering if you have any feelings on that one way or the other.
I mean, so when a large company like Boom comes in and does a campaign around the same time as me, it doesn't really affect me as much. I do think that them doing it is super shitty, and I have boycotted Boom in particular for how they handled their MMPR campaign on Kickstarter. I felt that what they did on that campaign was nothing short of gross and abusive towards the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger fan base. The fact that they were charging $100 per volume on that book was highway robbery on a series that already earned them tons of money. And we all know they're getting bulk printing costs, and it's costing them maybe $5 per book. And they're charging everybody $100 for this premium edition that's already in stores now. It's only been like 3 years. So they can go promptly fuck themselves. But like in terms of how it affects me, it doesn't really. I have an audience that I have built over the past, couple of years of me doing this. And as much as they love that stuff, they also love my work, and they're going to come support it. Now, does it make it a bit more difficult to reach new readers? Absolutely. But that's always the hard thing, right? Is getting that new person to come in and be like, all right, I'm going to take the chance and invest in this, right? Like, but that's the risk that we take in any sales, right? And to that, it's always the Glenn Ross thing. A man doesn't watch the lot unless he's looking to buy, right? Like, you've got to give them a reason to spend the money. They are here. They want to spend the money, but you got to give them the reason. And so that's where, going it, having your pitch down, like being able to talk about, what's special about your book to get somebody to come in and get it is integral. And like, I'm not one to toot my own horn, but that's something that I do think I have down. I'm pretty decent at talking to people, and I'd like to think a pretty strong grasp of what my IPs are about and why they will connect with people. And I surround myself with talent that I feel will properly convey that to the audience.
Yeah,
Well said.
I'm just going through all the beautiful stuff here.
Oh yeah, no, like it's all gorgeous, and like we have new pages that are up there for sale as well. We have this kind of like really cool Spider-Man style page. I can even screen share it. Give me a sec. This one just got colored, so I'll show the full colored version. But like the original page is for sale on the campaign.
Nice.
But hold on, let me share this real quick. Raph is doing everything he can. There we go.
Yeah, press the wrong button. Oh wow,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
So, like, one of the big things with these characters is, the father collected comics and the son would sneak in and read his comic collection. And the big series that they talk about in the first book is the Astonishing Arachne. So, like, we're obviously drawing some Spider-Man parallels and how they used the suit's abilities. And so had some fun kind of directing our artist Dean with, like, I wanted to kind of feel like, Spider-Man dropping down from the light post.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Oof.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just lovely. Dude, you got to keep up the good work, and folks, you got to support all these indie creators, because, if you don't support the indie creators, then you're not going to get all the beautiful good stuff that comes from them.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
Mr. Dennis Knight, why don't we go with you, and you tell the beautiful people some beautiful stuff.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me. Great talking with you guys. I've been super busy, super thankful. I got a new job, so I'm a staff writer with Ethereal Comics now. I've been with them for about a month now, and it's been great. Dustin, he's the CEO of the company. Really cool dude. Really, really loves comics. Like, he's a writer himself. And the way I got the job was pretty funny, because it's like we're friends on Facebook. So he posted, "Hey man, I hired all these writers, and it's freeing me up to handle the business side." So I messaged him, "Hey, so what's the protocol for hiring a writer?" So he's like, "Well, call me tomorrow." So I called him the next day, and we had like an hour-long conversation. He's telling me his company, what he's doing, what his plans are. And I was like, "Wow, this is a great conversation." So he was like, "Well, I have this idea. Do you want to write it?" So I'm like, okay. So he has like this high fantasy. He loves fantasy, which is great. So he has this high fantasy idea about, like, dragons, dwarves, all that fun stuff. And he has this story about a brother of dwarves, and he wants me to write it. So I'm actually working on it right now. I'm actually like doing like the bestiary, the character designs, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm working on that. I'm not sure when it's coming out, because it's like from scratch. Like, I'm doing everything, and then like I don't even have a creative team yet. So I'm just like putting all the pieces together, and then like send it off to them. They're gonna pick the team, put the team together.
I just have to say, Triceratops lady with the lollipop is on fire right now.
Their art. I mean, like these guys, they post comics like pretty much every day. Like, either have a Kickstarter going on, to have stuff for sale. Like, they're constantly like posting stuff. It's insane, and this art is like out of this world. All the art I've seen is like top tier.
Wow, that's nice. Kaiju Cuties. I don't think I've seen that.
I mean, that has so many different titles to choose from. They're so imaginative, so many different kinds of stories. I think If It Hops is probably one of the most popular titles. It's about like a bunny, and she shoots other animals. It's like an animal anthropomorphic kind of story. It's nuts. I mean, like, and Dustin, he shares a lot of stuff with me. Like, okay, I'm working on this. This is coming out soon. So like, they like give me the inside scoop of what's coming out, and all this stuff is incredible.
You're not kidding.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool
really
stuff
good
here.
stuff,
Yeah,
man.
man. I mean,
It's really awesome.
Very happy to be a part of the team. Like, everybody's really nice, very welcoming. I feel like I'm part of the team, and I just want to do a good job. So like, I'm constantly bugging him. Hey, what do you think about this? I'm like constantly picking his brain. What does he think about the story? Like, he likes the direction I'm taking, because I've told him like my plan for the story overall, and he loves it. So I'm actually in the excuse me. I'm so excited. I'm choking. So what I did was I put together a 3-act summary of the story. So I'm going to send it to the powers that be, let them look it over. If they want to add anything, they can put it in the outline before I actually start scripting. So then when I get the outline back, I actually start scripting based on that, which I think will be easier for me. So I hate writing stuff and then like having to rewrite it or do it over. So send it to them first, let them look at it, add the changes, send it back to me. Then I start writing.
I gotta say, Dennis, one of the things that it always bugs me out because I'm so used to this industry and the artists, and they hire the artists and they hire the artists. Anytime I hear a writer actually being hired to write for somebody else, it always bugs me out.
Yeah, man. I mean, it does happen.
Mhm.
Sometimes it does happen. I mean, I'm just happy to be here, man. Happy to have the opportunity to write cool stories and work with great people. It's just like it's a dream come true. It really is.
'Cause I feel the writers don't get much respect.
Dude, Dennis, it's always good to see a fellow writer getting the
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
Mhm.
man. I'm very happy. I'm happy to see that. The thing about the comic book industry that I love is that like there's so many talented people working together and like putting out cool stuff, and it's just like it's not easy, man.
No.
We just
No,
don't have huge budgets.
not.
We just have to do a lot of stuff ourselves. We make it happen somehow. I think it's amazing.
Especially from like the writer's angle, because like for us, like we're usually not just the writers, we're footing the bill on like
Right.
90% of all of this stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh god, it's like oh cool, we have new pages in, now I get to go cry into my bank account
Right.
and get rid of my money that I thought that I had. And that's what I like. That's how it is, man. But like, it's always good to see writers getting freelance gigs and getting brought in to help build stuff
Yeah,
up.
man.
It's like comics is a hard place for the writer. Like,
Yeah.
like that was
Very
one of the things
unforgiving.
that like blew my mind when I was looking at doing submissions back when I got started. Is like, artists can submit stuff like their portfolios and everything, no problem. For a writer, most of these companies, it's you have to have your pitch sheet, your log line, and then you need to have 6 pages of completed art. So it's like just to knock on the door, you need to have already invested, at least like generally speaking, a solid art team is anywhere between $150 to $250 a page.
Yeah, that's
right? So you're talking about an almost $2,000 investment, and at that point, why aren't you just doing it yourself?
Right.
So it's not an easy industry to get into as a writer. So it's really good seeing you, like, as you're one of the first creators I actually met in comics. Like we were on a show, I think on like Indie Vault or something way back in the day.
Yeah, that was years ago.
Yeah,
a long time ago.
So like it's always good to see the writers sticking with it and continuing to get the work and everything, because it is Mad Max out there for us.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah, definitely, because everybody looks at a writer and go, okay, you're taking care of a project, you're doing this project, you're handling that project, you're filling, you're putting the bill for the.
But then when we're at conventions and they're like, "Oh my god, did you draw this?" No, I'm the writer. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
They sound so disappointed.
Sets book down and moves on. It's like, oh, gee, thanks. It's not like I came up with everything that's on the
right.
They're more focused on the artwork, on the covers of it, than what's actually in the book,
right?
Or comic book, shall we? It's.
So Dennis, you got this thing coming up here.
Yes. Oh my goodness, this is another dream that I can't believe. All right, so last summer I did a workshop with the New York Public Library in the Bronx.
Yep.
It was a free workshop. So I taught how to make comic books for the summer at the New York Public Library. Have a classroom and everything. It was great. People came out, they asked questions, I gave them assignments. It was like class. Then the library reached out to me, I want to say back in January, that they were doing a con in August. So I'm like, and they wanted me to be a part of it. I'm like, yeah, I would love to. It's great. So then I get an email about maybe a month ago. So sorry, but we have to reschedule because of it was something wrong going on with the actual building of the library. They were scared that it was going to be too hot inside to have a convention in August. Because I guess there was no AC, or the AC was broken, something like that. So they had to reschedule it to November, meaning this November coming up. So Saturday, November 16th, the New York Public Library in the Bronx. I think the address is in there too. It's 315 East Kingsbridge Road in the Bronx. They're having a Comic-Con Saturday. I am doing a writing workshop, and I'll be doing a panel. There's going to be vendors there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's free general admission. So if you're in the Bronx, come on by. I'll be there.
That's
you
awesome.
said the magic word, folks. Free.
Exactly. Yeah. No ticket sales, no pre-registration. Just show up and have a great time.
Yeah, see, here's the old flyer.
Yeah. It's going to be this weekend, actually.
Yeah, I think that's why we had you on the show.
Right. Yeah. Because I was wanting to promote it. Then I got the news. I was like, you know what? Let me just do the show anyway because I can still promote it for November. So thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And I don't know if most of you don't know, but Dennis has been in the comic book business for a while. He was Kickstarter before Kickstarter was Kickstarter. And that's why I love picking your brain because you were with Pronto Comics, and back then that's what you tried to do was get with Pronto to see if they would publish your book.
Yeah, man, been around the block a couple of times. Still here, still cooking.
Even though I have to say, I've been around for a while, and when we were younger to do stuff in the 90s, it was so difficult to get it done, and it's only because you'd have to have all this money.
Sure.
And there was no Kickstarter, and there was no any of this stuff.
Yeah, man.
You just had to have the money.
It helped if Jim Shooter was your editor in chief.
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's generally how it goes, right?
Oh man! All right, Frank, tell the people all the beautiful stuff about you. Go for it.
Sure. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Frank DiStefano. I'm the author of the Dark Legend of the Foreigner book series and the Cody Cobb file. I will be at Fan Expo Chicago, leaving tomorrow night. Yes,
Nice.
Tomorrow night. Still got to work my daytime job. Have book 3 coming out, which is on the left, the 6 Dark Horses. That's dropping. And no, I do not do the artwork.
That's great, though. It's beautiful artwork, man.
Yeah.
Is that the actor who plays Elvis, bottom right?
No, that's the Cody Cobb. Yeah, can you imagine? That's a different book series, but I try to bring it. What built my name was the Dark Legend of the Foreigner, and my dad had passed about a month ago, and he's the one that kind of inspired me to write. So, I'm going to put a nice little dedication in book 3 when I drop it at Fright Reads Book Festival in Maryland. So I'm dropping it there, and good reason why I still continue is because I go to these Comic-Cons, getting my artwork in front of people, and my writings, and I've built up such a following now. It's insane, where whether you write books, write comics, draw, do both with the comics and everything, or you come out with games where we all start from the bottom, and then you look at the progress that we've all had, no matter what kind of art we're doing, and it's amazing how I've grown. Ralph just has been friends with a lot of us, right? He saw me in 2017, Ralph, right?
I don't know anymore. I think 2017, maybe 2000.
Yes,
either
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I met him and I always bring it up once in a while at East Coast Comic-Con, and that place is not even
around anymore. Yeah,
it's not around anymore. And for him to kind of see what I've been doing, or just a lot of us to kind of see what he constantly has the shows on for us to get our word out there on everything. And it's great, but I continue to write. I enjoy writing, and so the Dark Legend of Foreigner is about an ancient Japanese warrior that got frozen 400 years in feudal Japan and wakes up in modern day Central Park. Sorry, New York. Everybody goes back to New York. It
sounds an interesting story.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that pick it up. If you're not the diehard fantasy or science fiction, it molds both fantasy, science fiction, thriller, suspense. It has a lot of different genres in there, And there are people that come and, like intrigued by my big banners and my posters and everything that I have. And when people stop by and they're like, wow, that sounds really great. Usually about like, and I've done a lot of Comic Cons that we've all talked about where we've gone, and I think Andrew said that he was doing the Comic Con thing for some time, but I think we
He
all
was.
have done. I've probably done about close to 40 or 50 Comic Cons, and
Oh yeah, talk about hustle, Frank hustles.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them aren't in New York. It's staying like I got it. I got a table at MegaCon, which is not easy to do. Or
Yeah.
New York Comic Con, or and I've done probably about, this would be my 5th fan expo this year. I've done Boston, Philly, MegaCon, Dallas, and Chicago. Chicago will be number 5, with them. So they're they're a heck of a group to work with. They're really great, and and each time I bring it to a new city, new state, new location, I mean, my suitcase is still a lot lighter, you know.
Mhm.
That's how I basically hop on the planes. I put them in suitcases because I'm not shipping them, because I'm sure that'll probably cost just as much, if
I'm
not
gonna let
more.
for sure.
It's not like I'm sending like comics. These are 265-page books.
I don't know how you're carrying these books on the plane.
That
Check them in.
yeah.
They can take advantage of your checked-in luggage.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and they're not going to find anything about 200 different books in a suitcase. It's obviously it's a lot easier to drive, and if I'm going upstate to New York, or if I'm hopping to Boston or Connecticut, it's a lot easier, to hop on a ferry or whatever. But if you want to get it out there in front of people, Amazon's not exactly the friendliest. You
Right.
have to spend so much money with those algorithms and stuff like that. But this is the best way that I get it out there. And then book 3 will be dropping, and like I said, at the end of September. It's going to be fantastic. These books do great, and obviously I have a different mold of fantasy and science fiction, which we know does extremely well at a Comic-Con.
Nice.
It does.
So,
Things a solid genre.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun, and it's not selling. Obviously, you want to sell your products that we bring, and your artwork and your comics and stuff like that, but it's also creating a new fan.
Sure.
Talking to them, like I'd say about, like, honestly, like 85, between 85 and 90% sell rate of stopping by the table and leaving the table with the $2, which is very high.
Yeah.
As crazy it might be sound, like I've done MegaCon by myself, which is probably ludicrous, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but like a lot of people that I know, like, have their jobs and stuff, so it makes it hard. So this is kind of
Sure.
my thing, so it's trying to find those people to do that. I'm like, yeah, everybody I know works,
Right.
and but I mean, like, sometimes, like when I did MegaCon, I was kind of nervous and doing such a large extent, because that does about 50,000 a day. It's a 4-day con, just like Emerald City and New York
Right.
City and San Diego, and but a lot of these cons are great. I met a few people that basically flew from Puerto Rico to Orlando, and they were telling me how cons are run in Puerto Rico, and say, a lot of these cons was like, oh, thanks all the fans for stopping by, and like maybe I was ignorant and I wouldn't know stuff about, like, stuff that would go on there, but they blacklist you. This girl was telling me she was in cosplay, and she dressed up, and and she dressed up as Xena. which I'm like, wow, Xena. I haven't seen a cosplay of Xena, and I
Frank,
mean,
one second, Frank.
sure.
Andrew has to get going, so I'm going to give Andrew a chance to do
Yeah. Go.
wrap up. So, Andrew, do your wrap up. Give them the spiel. Tell them who you are, and tell them where they can find you, because that's all important.
Okay, well, Battlequest Comics, we can be ordered every month through Diamond Comics distribution. Our title is currently The Young Nomads. You can find us on the previews catalog. I don't have the Diamond code with me, but we'll be at Boise Comics Art Festival this month, and we'll be at New York Comic Con in December. And Frank, I just was loving your story you were telling. I really was enjoying hearing your journey. So
Yeah.
Frank has had a great journey.
Yeah.
Well, you follow me on Instagram. It's just the same name. It's Frank DiStefano.
Yeah.
And then you guys could follow me. Some of
Yeah,
you
for
guys
sure.
I might be following. I don't even know.
Yeah, no, I'm going to follow everybody on the socials and do a message behind the scenes and things like that. So
yeah,
sure.
I would love
Andrew,
to follow everybody here as well.
Exactly, Andrew. You're always welcome on the show. You know that.
Okay, thank you. Please, yeah, ask me on again. Let's do this soon. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank God for picking
Yeah,
up.
man.
Bye.
There you go. Go ahead, Frank.
No, it's great creating the new fan base that we all intend to create. Listen, like getting a 90% sale rate, once they stop by at your cons is significant. Because a lot of those people are going for the signatures, or they're looking for that Funko Pop to be signed, as and stuff like that for the collectors or whatever. But when you get it out there in front of people, man, it's and talking to people about your passion that you have for what you've written, what you take the time and to put your work out there. And it's not like and connecting to the fans, and that's something that you can't explain to someone that doesn't understand it or not in that position.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
You're creating love for something that you write and putting those specific words on there on that page, or you're drawing this picture that you envision on your comic book, or how you're positioning that specific character. Like, kudos to you guys that do that. Like, I don't know how you guys position stuff, and like I'm like, the artist that I have, she's great. Like my editor that I've had for the last 9-10 years, something like that, and the person that does all the artwork is the same person that I've had for just the same amount of time, and when you find people that are really good at what they do, like these covers,
You build.
let's be honest, like I've gone to and I've seen a lot of, decent amount of indie authors and small publishers, and then I've seen some, other authors that, have their books, on Random House, Penguin, a few of them, not a lot, but a few. And a few of them I have talking to indie authors and small publishers, and then he goes, how do you do it? And it's what they always say, a book is judged by its cover. Sadly, like your artwork for all yous that were on this show, I would definitely stop and seeing that beautiful artwork and all that. But that's gonna allure people to see what it's about and everything. But it's the same thing. I have a 6-foot banner, that sticks up, and it's, I mean, look at that. That's nice, Ralph. And then when you have
This
see
is
a
from the first
6-foot,
embrace.
Oh, yes, that one. I know that book.
It's beautiful, man. I was like, I gotta show off that Frank is telling the truth. Look at this, folks.
that's awesome.
Yes, it's a very alluring cover. Yes, I know that book.
But isn't it true though? But like you guys,
When-
like Barnes and Noble's still around, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're in Barnes and Noble's, you want to pick up something, get some fresh ideas for your Pacific comics or books or whatever. You go to Barnes and Noble's, you're gonna be like, all right, since we're all fantasy and science fiction, right? You're gonna go to that section. Let me see something that allures me. Like, oh, that cover. You don't even look at the back of the book. You're just like,
Right.
oh, that cover, and then you start to
100%.
read it and see if it catches your attention.
I feel like it's two things that catch your attention.
Yeah,
When it comes to regular
100%.
books, it's the cover. I'll say that, but sometimes it's the title.
Yeah.
You have an
The
intriguing
title definitely
Yeah.
plays a big role, but I think Frankie has hit a very important thing. So, like talking about Barnes and Noble, right?
Mhm.
And this goes even to conventions and everything.
Oh, definitely.
People go to those events, stores, what have you, with a goal, right?
Right.
They are 9 times out of 10, they already know what they are getting.
Yeah.
100%.
You're going to the bookstore to pick up a book that's just come out, right? And so they're going to go to the section that they're going to go. The big thing is will your book grab their attention? And it's not going to do that if it doesn't have a compelling cover. And the fact of the matter is, and it's funny because we grow up with this, oh, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Guess what, man?
You do.
Cover that is the most bullshit thing ever. Like, think about this. How many times do we tell people when we're growing up? How many times are we told when we're growing up? Your first impression is so important when
Yeah.
you meet somebody, when building a network and what have you.
Mhm.
First impressions are so important. The cover is a book's first impression.
For sure.
If I look at the cover and it's boring as shit, why am I here?
Right.
Like cool, you can try and say that this is the greatest American classic since fucking Ernest Hemingway. No one's going to care if it's literally just the title of the book with like a plain red cover or something like that. Like that. Cool. This is a book that I'm going to get assigned at school at some point, and it's going to bore the shit out of me because I'm going to be forced to try and pull the author's meaning from the text, because apparently having kids have freaking actual reading ability and the ability to form their own opinions and have critical thinking is apparently not what we're trying to foster in schools. It's what is the author trying to say? Well, guess what? The author lost ownership of it when they put it out to the public. It is now in the public's hands. What do you think that the text is trying to say?
Exactly.
Don't try and tell me what the author's doing, because you can go and look that shit up on Wikipedia.
But that's open to interpretation as well. Sometimes we always go with that. What is the author trying to say? But here's a funny thing. Yeah, I wrote a story a while back, and it was something, and one of the things I picked was that it was a color blue. So somebody comes to me and goes, "Oh, I see why you picked the color blue in there. It's because of this and this and this and this." And I'm sitting there going, "No, blue's my favorite color."
Why is the author trying to say this? Like, well, maybe the author's sad. No, but like, why is the author? Sometimes it's just like he's
Exactly.
It's just something so simple,
It's like, look, man, you don't. There is a poem called "Introduction to Poetry." I can't remember what it is, but I think that it perfectly encapsulates how literature is taught, like as a standard. Where like there's this line in the poem where it's talking about how we tie a poem to a chair and have the students beat a confession out of it, right? And like that's literally what we do with like literature and everything.
Yeah.
Like it goes into comics, like have some freaking independent thought and some agency.
Sure.
Like
that's what happened with the Watchmen. They think that Alan Moore was trying to do one thing. He was actually trying to do something
everyone else got something else. Dude, I feel so bad. Like Alan Moore, I mean, I would love to be in that guy's position because the amount of royalties that man probably makes is absurd. But Alan Moore I guarantee you, he despises that book at this point because it was a bit like it's very clearly a dark British satire on, hey, this is why mixing current events and like actual politics with superheroes is stupid and we shouldn't do it. And now everyone's like, I'm gonna do a character deconstruction piece in the vein of Alan Moore's Watchmen, and Alan Moore is just like sitting there trying to pull out all of his freaking long ass wizard hair. And people have completely missed the fucking point. And like, don't get me wrong, that's the risk we run, right? We are creatives. We put our stories out there into the world. Once it's out there, we lose part of the ownership of what the story is, because it's going to mean other things to other people.
Sure.
And that's both beautiful and frustrating, because it's like you'll hear people like it. Like, I'm sure there are guys there like I could only imagine. Like, imagine if you were J.R.R. Tolkien and you were alive and you were listening to some of the lectures of professors that literally, like, their entire literary background is studying Tolkien and talking about what Tolkien meant by this. Yeah. Could you just imagine being in that man's shoes, listening to one of those lectures and just be like, you're fucking wrong?
Yeah. Michael, it's freaking that you said that, Michael, because Tate says, I read a story about how Ray Bradbury went to give a talk about Fahrenheit 451 at a college, and the students attending argued with him so hard about the meaning of the
Wow.
Wow. Like that's that's the thing, is that's the risk that we run as creatives, is it's we lose
content on the pages 100%. You know,
we lose a sense of ownership, because once it goes out into the public, art is in the eyes of the beholder, right?
Interpretation, right?
Yeah. So like, I could be writing a story, with Elysian Fields. One of the big things that I'll be doing with this is it's a whole story about, Achilles being able to, is Achilles going to be able to move on from past demons, or is he going to be able to progress as a character? And it's kind of this battle of, are we actually able to change, or are we just victims of a cycle of our own making, right? That's a whole thing. But somebody else could read that and get a completely different fucking thing out of it, right? And I don't have any control over that. I can't go up to that person and say, "You're wrong. That's not what I meant." I mean, I can. I'm the guy that wrote it. But I'd be a massive dick for doing it, because
because everybody's interpretation of what they read, you get 10 different people that read a book and 10 different interpretations of the book. So
absolutely, I do think that it's funny that Ray Bradbury effectively walked out of a freaking college lecture hall. No, you don't understand foreign.
That's crazy.
It bugs me out, because Star Wars is always my go-to, because people like to talk to George Lucas and go and tell him what his story is about, and I sit there going, no, George is telling you what he was going to do.
Right.
People, when I get in debt with the book before they actually buy it, or as I'm like personalizing it, because I always personalize it, people still ask me, he's like, "Yo, did you personalize the book?" I'm like, "Why wouldn't I?" But anyway, some people are amazed when I wrote the Dark Legend, what inspired me to write it, and you guys are gonna laugh because it's so different than what you guys ever expected. I got inspired. When I was younger, I went to school for hospitality, so I was working on the North Shore at a small boutique hotel. And I came home one night and I had worked stupid amount of hours. It was like 14, 15-hour shift. Yeah. I just see Dennis's eyes like, holy crap.
I've been there before. Armed security. So not a fun gig.
No, but this was also during spring and summer, where the wedding seasons, and we basically call outs or whatever. You just had to do what you had to get through the day, right? And I came home And my dad's picture on the website, that's why he's the one that kind of inspired me, because I came home, I was like 18, 19, right? And I was like, let me like, he's like, oh man, I just watched this movie. It was like it's like 1:30 when we like watch 8 heads in a duffel bag. And I'm like, how did I watch 8 heads in a duffel bag? And the Dark Legend came from that. It's just so funny, but it just proves to show that it could be the stupidest little thing that can influence something that you would never think that would
For
happen.
sure.
Like I never thought I would have wrote 3 Dark Legends and a Cody Cobb book. Like I never thought. I mean, I've rewrote it a bunch of times, and I tried selling it to like major publishers, but a lot of them turned me down. But the funny thing is, like, I'm from New York, and a lot of us that we don't take no's for an answer because we
Right.
believe in our project, right? Whether you're selling it to, big time studios or a literary agent or a comic book, I don't know much about comic book world, so pardon me if I sound like I have no idea what I'm talking about.
It's a rough place, man. Don't worry about it. It's a terrible
Yeah.
place. I recommend.
Especially for writers.
Like it
I'm
is
sure.
so, it is so frustrating.
Mhm.
Like as I told you, like those terms and conditions are consistent across Image, Dark Horse, Boom,
Yeah.
like pretty much every company like that. And then Marvel and DC do not take unsolicited pitches whatsoever.
Oh, they don't.
Like,
Oh, wow.
you have to be invited into the door to work at those. So like you're generally trying to get in at like Image, Image, Boom, all these other things to kind of build your connections and then go over there. But like for a writer, like you pretty much have to have your book done to be considered. Like no bullshit. Like the terms and conditions are you need to have 6 pages completed, like fully lettered, right? But
And it's
like
better if you have a book completely complete.
if you do not have at least the book completed, if not the entire first arc of a series, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Because effectively they don't want most of these things. You'll look and they'll say, Image straight up says we do not pay page rates. We pay a lump sum that's divided between your
of course,
creative team and this, that, the other. So like effectively, they do not want any of the fiscal responsibilities of your overhead.
Right.
Is what it comes down to. So they want so it is much easier for them to justify bringing you in if you have everything already done,
Ready to go.
which at that point, why the fuck am I not just making this myself?
Right.
And the other frustrating part about that is the immediate counter is, well, Image has a marketing budget and has distribution into Diamond. All all of these things, like they're able to dump thousands of dollars into promotional and getting you into stores and all this other crap. And it's just like, so you're pretty much just screwed as a writer until you get somebody that goes and says, yeah,
this is why I love the Square. So when I do cons, I track my year to dates, just like I work for Coca-Cola, so I work on Long Island, so we have different things that you could see on our laptops that we work, and the trends of what's higher, what's low, whatever. So it's the same thing on the Square. When I'm able to track. And it's very great, from your phone, not so much, there's only limited, but that's most things, if you bring your computer away, you open it up, when you have time at home or whatever, or if you take the computer away, you're able to see, and like each year I've been extending up, not downward. So,
Good. That's a good thing.
Especially in the economies, right, where people have limited budgets and stuff that they got to pay, right? So getting those people to spend that hard-earned cash that they go to a Comic-Con, or they have certain budget to spend wherever they're going, it's great. I mean, I sell my books 2 for $30, and you get a free poster print. So I mean, my prices are good. So it's tough when being an independent, because then you got to have your own material, you got to print it up,
Right.
you got to stuff like that, just like you guys have to, distributions and stuff like that. Listen, I think we, as writers and comic books, you still have to put the money into it,
Oh, 100%.
I like that. I get off a train. I was just saying.
I wish I could say Son of Saint is
That was funny. I was not
wish I could
expecting
say
that.
Son
Was
of
funny.
Saint is kind of
depending on the type of
exaggerated.
sandwich, that might be
But I've
worth
actually
it.
seen them do that to Son of Saint.
But it's
Depending on the
crazy.
type of sandwich, that might be worth it.
Yeah, right.
What type of sandwich are you talking about?
So if I tell you guys, when I first wrote and published The Dark Legend, I didn't. I had the manuscript. I got it edited, and I must have sent it out over the years to, I'm gonna say, probably about 2,000 different query letters that me and my friend tried to help me do.
Wow.
2,000. Not one of them said no. But yet I go to Comic-Con, and that's when I start doing Comic-Cons in 2017 when I met Ralph, because I was one of those people that, grilled cheese sandwich.
Not worth it then. Sorry.
I gotta put some bacon on it, bacon and tomatoes, and then you'll be good.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you're making me hungry.
But I didn't want to take no for an answer, because I believed in my work.
Right.
I believed in putting it out there, and I wasn't going to take no for an answer. I mean, basically I did, but I found another way. Might not be the easiest way travel, but I believed in it. And you know what? My gamble was right, because all the fans that come and stop at the table and look at it, and that is something that someone who's hasn't created artwork or written something or done a comic or done a game or a board game or whatever they're doing, whatever kind of art that they're doing, you can't tell people how to feel about something as a creator.
No.
You could describe it in as many words, or the words that you choose to use, but until they understand that feeling, getting behind the computer and writing, or coming out with to any type of content that they create, you cannot explain that. That's like a feeling, it's almost like I've never won the lotto, and I'm sure most of us would love that, but that's like that feeling that you would get of that enjoyment of sharing your work with somebody, and
that's a major thing. Yeah,
it's
something
it
has no words.
No, it doesn't. And
I'm not saying is asking if you're going to Chicago.
Yes, I'm going to be at Chicago. Say, where was it? Go to the bar. Where was I? What about and ask
for
a Chicago handshake?
Bar and ask for a Chicago handshake.
I'm from New York, so I don't know if that's going to go over well. I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan, so I don't know if that's going to go well, being that the Cubs play there too.
Oh my God!
No, but I think I'm going to do really well there.
I agree.
And when I first started building my name, I remember, not Ralph has helped, not the best with social media, but he's kind of molded me and tried to help me, suggest things and stuff like that, and I mean, I almost got I think I got 74,000 followers on Instagram. Yep. Don't ask me how I did that.
75K. I went and I went and looked you up, and I was like, "Holy shit! How does he have so?" I need to take notes. This is fucking ridiculous. 75,000 followers.
Frank hustles his ass off and this guy has been hitting conventions like crazy, and I've been able to go with him and hang out with him at the conventions, and he pulls these people to his table. You know, he's actually actively talking to people, telling people about his book.
So he's the model employee in Alec Baldwin's Glenn Ross situation. Where yes, you're gonna go and move the unit. You're gonna get the Glenn Ross sales names. You're gonna get the list.
You know what it is? I have a very outgoing personality, right? So I got that, I just saw that she's gonna message me on the side. I can't read that quick,
He says that he has 13.4K and they all ask him for free art.
So I have like the inverse problem because I'm a writer, and so I'll post up like all the stuff that we're doing, and I'll get messages sometimes from like serious professional artists, and that's always really cool.
Right.
The 3/4 of the time though, it's like, hi, I'm a professional artist. Do you have any project for me to look
yes,
on?
I hate that so much. It happens to me all the time.
And I do not have the heart to tell them, you are nowhere near close to be looking to pitch to me for professional work, dude. I know high schoolers who can draw better than you. Like, I'm not putting that anywher near one of my projects.
It's okay when they're legit, but you have to get them, because I know I get them, and I'm not even doing them.
I get them all the time.
I'm doing it on the side, and you have to get them. Like, all of a sudden, somebody will send me a thing going, "I do art. Art do I?" And then they send me something from like an artist I already know, and I'm like, "That's not you. You didn't do that."
Right.
That
scammers, man.
That. And when you get the ones where it's like, hi, I've noticed your crowdfunding campaign. Congratulations on doing so well. Would you like some help bringing in some more backers? And I'm like, yes, you're not the answer.
Dude, I think the funniest one out of those, and I'll show our friend Dirk Manning right now. The funniest one out of those is I had Dirk Manning on the show. And he does well with his Kickstarters. He's doing really well. Let it go up right now. He's doing really well right now. And
I heard about
it. I see you're not doing well with your Kickstarter. I'm like, dude, I had Dirk Manning on. Pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
I see your campaign's not doing it. I was like, I've reached 200% of my funding goal, and I'm nearing 10K. Like,
exactly.
I don't know what you go away, please. Yeah. like just stop. And I mean, I wish that I had like 12K in my bank right now. That'd be great. But at the end of the day, and this is what it ultimately comes down to, is nobody is going to sell your book like you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's 100% because you have the passion behind it.
It's also you understand it more. Like, at the end of the day, I can go through, Frank, and I can read through the synopsis of your books, and I could probably pitch it. But the moment that somebody starts to ask me more in-depth questions about what's going on with your story, my goose is cooked, because I don't know.
Me all the time. Somebody will be like, "Oh, dude, I like The Embrace. Go check it out." Right, and then somebody will go, "Can you explain what's going on, Ralph?" I'm like, "No, man, go check it out yourself."
You're right, because when you create something, people I have it's just so see how I pitched the Dark Legend. It's about it's very simple, right? It's about, there's obviously other things that happen in between, but that's the easiest pitch. What's it about? It's an ancient Japanese warrior. They got frozen 400 years in feudal Japan, wakes up modern day New York City. Very simple, but very short and right to the point.
That's what
obviously there's a lot of other stuff that goes on, between how we got frozen. And then people ask me that. I'm like, you're going to ask me that? Buy the book, then you have to find out,
right.
I'm not telling you.
At the end of the day, a pitch should be 45, max of 45 seconds.
Right.
It should hook and give the basic premise of what you're doing. Like, when I was when I was trying to get into comics, I would remember I was looking for classes to teach me on how to write a comic script, and I ended up finding this one class on like screenplay writing, and I'm thinking, okay, those are probably pretty similar. They're not. Spoiler alert. So I took this one class. It was on Udemy, and the class itself was dog shit. The guy was the most pretentious human being I've ever seen. I don't even remember the guy's name, but the one good lesson that I got out of it was his like how to do a pitch thing. And so he like broke down as like your pitch should tell the story of your entire movie or series or whatever you're doing in 45 seconds or less. It should tell the entire story within that time. And it was like, that was the one really good part of the lesson that I got out of it. And I think that it's helped a lot with like, you know, how I communicate about my books to people and what have you.
I gotta say, with Kickstarters and the videos, which I'm about to show, the Odin video, because I have to show it. It's beautiful. I like the fact that, you know, you have these videos now. They kind of help you out, but it's the same thing. You still need to have be a certain amount of length. Hold on, let me play the video. We can talk again.
Yeah, no worries.
I gotta say, I can see why you got involved with this.
Yeah, no, it
looks great.
It's drop dead gorgeous, and the artist is somebody that I've been following for a bit and is like on my wish list of people that I would love to work with. The guy studied in Walt Disney Studios France for animation, and then he works as like a historical advisor to a bunch of museums, and was brought into like a whole bunch of cultural preservation graphic novels on like Celtic mythology and Britannic mythology and all this other stuff. Absolutely beautiful work, and like the artwork in Odin is just drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah,
it is. It completely is. That's why I wanted to show the video, because I've seen it a couple of times now, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, no, it's pretty insane.
Oh my god! I see we're like almost at the 2-hour mark, which means we've been geeking out a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure everyone here is starting to run out of steam as we approach.
Definitely. I ran out of steam ages ago.
I know, but it's always
30.
like you get passionate talking about your particular projects and everything, and you know, it's just like talking about it. Yeah, and then when you're talking about it, it just goes on, and because it's something that you enjoy. It's something that you're passionate about and you feel in your blood and your veins and, you know, everything that you're trying to do. So, of course, sometimes you just have those great conversations, and nothing wrong with that, you know?
You know, we're geeks. We geek out.
That's it.
Yeah.
We completely geek out. I'm going to show off some stuff here because I was like amazed when I found out that Mr. Keanu Reeves is going to be at
I heard about that
GrifficCon this week on Friday, actually. And he's signing from 12:30 to 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. 12:30 to 2 o'clock on Friday.
Dude, you know that I found this out. I was like, whoa.
That was
Terrificon is already a lot of fun. I hope you guys are going this weekend. It's in Mohegan Sun. So, besides the fact that you got a con, you also have a casino. You can make it a whole weekend if you guys want.
Yeah.
So I read something about that before. So Keanu Reeves is playing at Foxwoods. That's why he's going there.
Well, that makes sense because they're right next to each other.
Yeah, because he's playing with
Well,
his.
Son of Saint says that that bastard needs to pick up my Berserker cover.
You know,
Hey man, I feel your pain, man.
And of course, we're going to be at Terrificon this weekend while Frank is in Chicago. It's going to be Son of Saint. Because I'm thinking about you, Son of Saint. It's going to be Shadow Rabbit and I heading off to Terrificon.
Oh, nice. So what's up?
This Friday.
Are Shadow's going too?
Yep, Shadow's going. It's me and Shadow on the road on Friday.
Nice.
Oh, okay, cool.
I knew Son of Saint was going to say something. Oh, you love me, Ralph.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Dennis, tell the people one more time who you are and all the good stuff. I'll put up your thing.
Sure. My name is Dennis Knight. I'm a writer. Sometimes I'm a good writer. You can find me on Facebook.
The best.
Same name, Dennis Knight. I have a fan page, Knight Writer. On Instagram, I'm DEE Knight Writer. On TikTok, I'm Who Is Dennis Knight. And on Twitter, I'm Mr. Knight Writer. Yeah, that's it.
Sometimes I'm a good writer. I'm gonna have to steal that, Dennis.
No,
That's
please
fantastic.
I don't own the rights to that. Please knock yourself out. Steal away.
And I have to say, because she's not here right now, our pal Mata Sorcier is an amazing artist, amazing writer.
She's great.
She does it all herself. And this, if you love D&D, this is what would happen if a D&D party rolled 1.
Okay.
And all the mischief and all the craziness that would happen with it.
Oh, nice.
Wouldn't just everyone just die? Wouldn't that like if everyone
You would
just
think so.
Die?
You would think so, but I've been in enough games where rolling the 1 kind of moves the story along.
Oh, okay.
And what usually happens is just crazy stuff ensues. And Buddy and Friend is a fantastic thing. It's funny. It's great. She does all the art herself, the writing.
She does everything.
Right now, she's in the notify stage. So, folks, I'm going to tell you this because I tell you this all the time. You need to go and sign up to notify anytime you see these because it's free to do and it helps out the creator. Because when the project starts, it puts them in a better place in the algorithm. So, if you want to help people, this is the best way to do it because it's free and you sign up and they get the boost and then the algorithm puts them in a whole beautiful place. Hey, Son of Saint said, I forgot to put the mighty before Dennis's name. Put some respect on that man's name.
Fair enough.
All right, folks. Any last words before we go?
It's been great, guys. Best of luck with all the endeavors. Frank, good luck on your show. Michael, good luck with your translation thing. The book looks great. I will share it. I shared it on my Facebook earlier, but I share it again. Give you a little boost for your Kickstarter.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it's always a pleasure seeing you. It's been far too long.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you guys need to follow. We need to follow each other, man. It was great conversations. Writers supporting writers.
I followed you on Instagram here this evening. I looked you up. I was like, we were on the show the last time, and I looked you up and I said 75,000 followers. How the fuck did you do that? I'm gonna have to pick his brain later.
Yeah, man.
Like that just blew my mind. I was like, what the dick?
Honestly, I'm gonna tell you what it really is because I do like when I promote the shows. I mean, this is from what I've seen anyway. It's nothing in particular. It's when I post pictures, the books and pictures of me setting up or whatever, it's basically hashtagging and the ads when I'm at the conventions, and then you draw people in from that. Like it's nothing out of like anything special or brainiac that I did. It was just you the higher cons like MegaCon or Boston or Dallas or wherever I'm going, or when I've done Terrificon, it's you hit like I'm hitting let's say Boston. All right, let's use Boston, right? Let's say Boston Tribune, right? They got the Boston Tribune and the Boston Globe. So I'm using ats. I'm hashtagging people who follow the Boston Globe,
Got it.
or
That's
just
smart.
just certain areas or certain radio stations that are in Boston, or if they're in Connecticut or whatever, and you just do your. That's what I've been doing, and then obviously I'm hitting the writing groups, and the book clubs on Facebook, and then the book talks and whatever else is on Instagram. That's what I've been doing. So if I'm drawing people in from seeing in those groups, so that's all I'm doing, and
Nice.
then so I mean that seems to be working. So
I mean, clearly, 75,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
No,
No.
So,
no,
especially
but I mean,
Instagram, because
I mean,
Instagram
it's
likes to mess
take,
you over.
yeah, it's taking some time, but I mean, sometimes I like I look at it, I'm like, man, he goes like almost 2 years ago, I didn't have that, and it's like I think Ralph said something to me like maybe about a year and a half ago when he's like, Frank, was that right? It was usually like 75,000 or whatever it was, and then I'm like, I do, because I'm always posting. I'm not looking at that.
Right.
I'm just looking to promote, you know, uh, you know, you know, you know, you know, But I mean, I definitely try to, um, you know, use that opportunity to get to that fan base,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and then and obviously, like I said, I've done numerous ones of them to draw them in, and once they do, then they start following, and then people will see where I'm gonna go. So it definitely is something great to feel, like me to the followers. Yeah, you need followers to bring your content for people to see your content, right? But it's
Yeah, for
also
sure.
going to those shows. When those shows are drawn anywhere from 50,000 and up, that's how I usually determine. Usually, I do one like one on Long Island. That's my local show. CredoCon at the
Amazing.
Credo of Aviation.
Mhm.
I do that show every single year. But that's my home show. That's I don't care if they're doing 2,000 or 100.
Right.
That's my home show. I don't have to drive any place.
Right.
It takes me 25 minutes to get there. It's like, I'm right on Long Island. It's right in, Garden City. It's not far from me. Like I said, maybe 25-30 minute tops. It's not, but it's just I just enjoy going to these cons. I enjoy mingling with the people and the fans that I create, and that to me will always hold a special place. As a
Same.
content creator, always will be. It's the best feeling. Like I said, probably reiterated probably about 12 times already. But it's just as a writer, and you guys can contest as a writer and someone that creates, creativity, and that's a special place no matter, like I said, it's something you can't explain to
Yeah.
anybody. Like I look at, like I said to Ralph one day, I'm like, these guys, guys that sell these Funko Pops, right? And not that I knock Funko Pops or comic or Marvel and these guys, right? They're just selling someone else's product.
Right.
They're not like not to knock those guys, because listen, people that created Beanie Babies was doing the exact same thing, right?
Mhm.
It's just different, but like they're making money off of someone else's idea, right?
Right.
That's how I look at it. They're not doing something, good for them. Not that I knock those people, but they're like, oh, we got this, but you're selling someone else's product that
Right.
they basically build for you to buy it, whatever. And listen, there's tons of those people that do that. so be it. They make that, but I rather know that I feel that I created something special, and
Yeah.
the Dark Legend is something special. And I just wish people would, like the bigger publishers. But you know what? It's probably better that they don't. Like I love there was I was a big time wrestling fan. I watch it once in a while. So there was a wrestler, um, and he had some concussion protocols and great wrestler, but he wound up, not that I'm using this, but he wound up murdering all his family.
I know
But
exactly who you're talking about.
I know you, Chris Benoit, but
Yeah.
he always had a line, and he always says his line was "Prove me wrong." I love that line because when you doubt yourself and then you go to a con and then sometimes you have some like a bad cons or you're just not advertised well, whatever, things happen, right, at the smaller ones. But then when you go and then you sell like 60 or 80 of these books, you're like, all right, I did I was going in there with selling 40. I don't put a number on anything. I don't, but people see me, they stop. Oh, we've never seen you before. Oh, that's I'm from New York, like you thinking like about Orlando, MegaCon, or Emerald City, right? Like these massive New York Comic Con, San Diego, you got all these massive cons. I'm a little guy that gets
Right.
into Orlando, which is like just unheard of. Like I'm like, holy crap! Like, doing it again next year, and like, wow, I'm there. And then people are like, how'd you do that by yourself? I'm like, man, I prayed. That's what I did. you know, I, but it was glorifying, man. Like doing a con like that and bringing that to like you guys get that out there. You bring that there. I think you guys would kill it as well. You know,
All right, Frank, we gotta go. It's 2 hours in, and I'm fading away.
I'm not doing much better, man.
No, don't worry about it. Folks, go check out Frank in Chicago. Check out Oden doing Odin, and as well as the Embrace. And Dennis Knight is always the man. You should
Thank you.
always check
Appreciate
him
that.
out. He's always busy, and if you get a chance to actually go and learn something from him, like he's doing over there at the Bronx Library, you should take that chance. With that, I will do what we always do here on this show, the Written Writ. I'll press the button, and